Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Friday edition of Moohead Radio, the Browns-Dolphins pregame show, as it were. And this program is going to be sponsored by the Big Dick of Truth. Just remember, it's so big, you can't avoid it. The Big Dick of Truth. And for those people who don't watch the show on a regular basis, the Big Dick of Truth comes out when there are certain things that I feel I need to say and I need to express. And some of them are, are things that we get lied to about. And the media is probably one of the great ways of, the messenger of all of a lot of these lies. And social media picks up the slack as well. I want to point something out because I don't do politics on this show, and I don't want this to be interpreted as a specific philosophical political statement, but I'm going to say what I'm going to say because I am really fed up of my timeline on X when I'm just trying to sort sport stuff out, and all of this political shit from both sides is just being hurled at me. I've been talking to a number of my friends who are more right-wing oriented, and I'm explaining to them, and they're explaining to me the same shit that's happening to both of us, which is if you expound like a slightly left of center like me or a right of center like them, we're getting the opposite shit in droves on X. And you can't sort through it. It's mind-boggling. And, I don't want to read about how many more roads are going to be named after Charlie Kirk. I want to get to the bottom of what I feel about this and then never have to talk about it again. I'm going to tell you that this ties in to the theme of the Cleveland Browns. So I want you to listen before you just start going spastic and haywire. Here's the deal. The people who make the big money, the billionaires, the people who run the show, they don't take the fucking bullet, do they? They never do, and they never have. I'm not going to tell you that I agreed with Charlie Kirk. I'm not going to tell you that he's a good man, a bad man. I don't and did not know him. I just can't, you can have differences of opinion politically with people, and I do all the time. And a lot of people have been listening to this program for 20 years. We know where each other stands, and we get along because I like them and they like me. In this instance, you have a guy who was 31 years old, with a wife and kids at home. And he was trying to make a better life for himself, his kids, and his wife. And he had an opportunity to become a voice of a cause. And he was funded by people. Over $100 million in funding for a turning point, which was his cause. And he became very popular on the podcasting, job. That's something that he was good at. He was not an educated guy, and he fairly well came out of the woodwork. But he worked hard at what he did, and there was a message that he was espousing. And that message was being funded by people who were very, very wealthy. And in the end, this whole idea of having a tour and going out in front and indoctrinating younger people to that way of thinking, to his opinions and to their opinions up on high, was dangerous. And it was the kind of thing that you wouldn't and shouldn't have to do to make a living in this country. And Charlie Kirk was willing to accept the risks, and he did not deserve to get shot. He's not a saint, and he's not a sinner. To me, he was a person who just was trying to espouse what he believed in, and he was doing a job to keep the money coming in. It's no different than a political campaign. Bring in the money. And now I'm looking at the Cleveland Browns and sports in general, and I'm saying, Jimmy Haslam never takes the fucking bullet, does he?
No, he never does.
And with that in mind, I want everybody to open their minds to the big dick of truth and listen to what I have to say, because it is not what you're going to hear on Cleveland.com. It's not on ClevelandBrowns.com. It's nowhere on social media, and it belongs here because I'm not being funded by anybody but myself. Here's some of the things that are being reported today. Joe Flacco is the ultimate team player. What a great guy. Amen. Now, I don't know Joe Flacco. I know that Joe Flacco played with the Browns 2 years ago, that he came back, and we just traded him to Cincinnati. I understand exactly how the story goes. This is today's story on ESPN. 10 days ago, Joe Flacco didn't know whether he'd get to experience again what he felt on Thursday night. It felt like I might not, Flacco said, to be honest with you, and it's pretty special. And with that said, I don't have to read anymore. Is this about a love of playing football, or is this just a way for Joe Flacco to prove to himself that he can still do it? And that is what it is, folks. And all of the tumult that goes with this Joe Flacco trade, if you want to call it that, which stirred up Mike Tomlin, and we'll talk about that horse shit in a minute. All of this talk about the Joe Flacco trade is such a waste of time. Joe Flacco was not the future in Cleveland. He's a 40-year-old man, and it wasn't working out for him. Why did the Browns trade him? Maybe could you just think that maybe because he did them a good turn 2 years ago, and he wanted to continue playing, and he wasn't going to sit on the bench behind rookies, that they said, we'll do you a favor, Joe, and we'll trade you to somebody who needs a quarterback now, and you'll be able to walk right in and play again.
Absolutely. That's what happened.
I mean, that's what it is. Is it that he picked the best opportunity? No, he couldn't pick and choose that. That's not something that's within his domain, but he's out there playing. So people are now, regaling Joe Flacco and, another mistake by the Browns. No. A 40-year-old man can't play in a situation like Cleveland, and we'll get into that in just a moment. But the future is to find out if any of the young quarterbacks like Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders can. And that's what we're going to find out, kind of, but not really. So Flacco, to me, at the end of this article, again, it says it all. On Thursday night, Flacco talked about the relief his family felt to see him complete another game.
Wow.
In his post-game news conference, Flacco said he was eager to hear how that relief morphed into excitement. Quote, I can't wait to talk to my wife tonight and just hear it in her voice and all those things, Flacco said. Talking to family reminds you of how special this is. That's fucking warped, my man. That is fucking warped. You won Super Bowl. You've had a really good career. Some people would say a borderline great career. Get off the stage. You're playing for a Cincinnati team that doesn't have shit. You were playing for a Cleveland team that didn't have shit. And you were playing for an Indianapolis team that didn't have shit. That's the bottom line. And why is he still out there doing it? Because he's getting a rush out of it.
Yeah, he's doing it for his own reasons.
When he does not recognize his children 20 years from now, will it be worth it? Big dick of truth. Joe Flacco is not the ultimate team player. Joe Flacco came into Cleveland this season right off the get-go and said, I'm the starter here. And no, I don't have any responsibility to help out Shador, to help out Dylan. And he quoted that.
He wasn't going to help the team, so there's no reason in keeping him.
Let him go and do what he wants to do, and they did him a favor.
They absolutely did.
And, it's wonderful. He had a great game. He had some great games for us. He never sustains it because he's 40 years old. Yeah. And the biggest opportunity, he really took a big dump in the playoffs. Cincinnati's not going to make the playoffs, be that as it may.
Yeah, and obviously Flacco is a placeholder. When Joe Burrow finally fit again, then bye-bye Flacco, or bye-bye Browning, or bye-bye somebody, or bye-bye both of them.
Yeah. And then you have all these ridiculous, and it's the same kind of spurious comments that have totally taken over X and your timeline and my timeline just to get us flustered. Why Joe Flacco is succeeding for the Bengals when he couldn't for the Browns.
Oh, what a waste of time.
And it just goes on. And that's not what I'm not trying to stir up dirt. I'm just going to tell people that what Joe Flacco is doing is really no different than what Charlie Kirk did. He's being funded a couple $1 million a year to continue playing football so that he can get what he wants out of the game. And Jimmy Haslam and the people who are funding him will never have the brain damage, will never have the injuries. They will have the big, big money, just like the donators who donated to Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
They will always own the system, and they will always find somebody else. And the reason they're making reason they're making a martyr out of him is they can keep the ideas alive, not Charlie. They didn't give a shit about Charlie's life. Let's be honest about it. It took them no time to morph from, oh, God, that's just a horrible thing that happened, to let's name the boulevard down the street after Charlie. And, oh, let's give him this post-death award. And let's do that. He's dead. You fucking killed him. The whole drive to get this information out to people killed a man. And there was no good reason for it. He didn't deserve to die. But somebody had a greater cause in their mind and a greater reason. And they were going to pay him a lot of money to do it. And there is no reason that Joe Flacco was succeeding for the Bengals. He didn't in his first game. In his second game, he did. And this is just the kind of ridiculous narrative that has to go away. And then there's this. Kevin Stefanski wanted to keep Flacco and his job. That's what I'm saying. But the thing is, did Stefanski want to keep Flacco? Well, he had his press conference today. And, of course, the press doesn't miss an opportunity to try to squeeze something out.
Shit up, yeah.
And why not? That's what else? I hear Daryl Reuter, and you had that fucking face, with a contorted mouth. You too, would for your $40,000, $30,000 a year, or whatever Daryl Reuter makes, you would ask the stupid ass questions that he asks week in and week out. And this week, what Daryl did was basically ask, let's see if I can pull this up here, because there were so many things about Brown's injuries. All right. Kevin, given how well Joe did play, there's obviously a lot of talk again about the decision to trade him. I want to ask you again. First, this was Daniel Oyafusi who asked this question. I just want to ask you again. This organization talks about alignment all the time. Were you in alignment with the front office and Andrew Berry about that trade? And Stefanski said, respectfully, Daniel, we're worried about this game in front of us. Got the Dolphins coming to town. That really has all my focus, all of our energies. Nothing that's happening outside. And then Daryl jumps in. Why do you think we didn't see that version of Joe in his starts here? First game, he didn't know half the Bengals playbook. Then he throws for 350 and a couple of touchdowns. And Stefanski said, yeah, respectfully, I understand the point, Daryl, but I really have to keep the focus on our team. Let me explain this. Do you honestly think that if Charlie Kirk went out and changed his message because he had such a group of people that were listening to what he said, do you think those benefactors who were donating to him would put up with that shit?
Absolutely not.
That would be the end of the Charlie Kirk tour and the Charlie Kirk podcast.
Yeah.
Well, Kevin Stefanski is smart enough to know that he's got to stay in his lane. He knows that.
Yeah, that's not his job, whether Flacco gets traded or not.
Well, and the bottom line is whether he thought the organization was in alignment. Look, we know that Kevin wanted for Flacco to be the starter. We know that because that's what happened. Yeah. And we know that Jimmy Haslam earlier in the season said he also wanted throughout this year to be able to see the two quarterbacks that he got in the draft so they can make some kind of future assessments. And that's completely logical. No problem there. But where the problem is when you end up with a bunch of bootlickers, and you have to understand why it happens. Kevin Stefanski is employed right now. If he went out and said, I really didn't agree with that trade, I was not aligned with Andrew Berry on that one at all, the 5 or so organizations in the NFL that will have head coach openings will not even interview a guy who turns on one of the big benefactors. Are you kidding?
Oh, God, no.
Those men and women would never stand still for a head coach who spoke the big dick of truth. Stefanski is just going to sit out his time in Cleveland and continue doodling the way he doodles. He's going to get fired at the end of the season, and he's going to prove to the other owners of the league that he's a good Boy Scout and that he can carry water.
That he's a yes man.
Yep.
He has to be.
Yep. And that's what will get him hired someplace else.
Oh, yeah. Millions.
That's what will get that job for him wherever.
He'll get millions somewhere else.
That's right. And again, it's no different accepting millions of dollars to be the head coach of a team that has no fucking chance to win is really no different than accepting the money to go on tour so that somebody can put a fucking bullet in your neck. It is what it is. That's the job that Kevin Stefanski had, and that's the job that Charlie Kirk had. And that's what supported his wife and his children, both Kevin and Charlie. And they weren't going to change that. Stefanski wants to work again, but he will never work again if he admits that it was like, boy, that was a real head scratcher there, Mary Kay. No way. That's not going to happen. All right. Here's the next thing being propagated. Shador has an attitude problem. This one really makes me laugh. He's immature? Yeah. I think that's safe to say. Were you immature when you were 24?
Damn it, I'm 65 and I'm still a bit immature, my friend.
There you go. I'm a guy at 68 who's got the big dick of truth on his screen,
Yeah, I mean, that's why we kind of hang out.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that he has an attitude problem. He
He's just
believes that
young.
he can turn around a franchise. He believes he's that guy, and he doesn't want to put the negatives into his head. And he hasn't learned what makes the machine go round.
Yeah, and he haven't had a lot of adversity in his life.
No, he's in a situation where he had a good situation in Colorado and he turned that around along with his father, along with Travis Hunter and others, and they did a real nice job of it. Now, since he's gone, they're struggling to remain at 500 in Colorado, and they're losing to teams that aren't very good. They're not very good either. But the thing is, football, you didn't expect the University of Colorado to be a contending team with the teams that have billions of dollars of funding. Now, do you?
Not at all.
So
they're competing against pro franchises out there.
Basically now. They're competing with the Ohio States and with the Michigans and, the Alabamas and on and on and on.
Yeah.
Shedeur doesn't have an attitude problem. Johnny Manziel had an attitude problem because he was
a drug problem.
He had a drug problem. That's right.
Gambling problem, the whole thing.
Shedeur just wants an opportunity to show that he belongs or he doesn't belong, and you can't blame a young man for that. And is he palling up to Dylan Gabriel? No. Does he want Dylan Gabriel's job? Yes. But he's a little bit more open about it than Kevin Stefanski is sitting there and saying, oh, no, there was no problem with the whole Flacco trade. The thing is that when you get older, you learn who makes the rules. And Shedeur hasn't figured it out yet. But week after week goes by and he's not on the field, he'll figure it out. And that's all part of the deal. It's like why he dropped to the 5th round in the first place. And it's the same group of people who are, saying it's like Deshaun Watson was a rapist. No, he was not. Would you stop that? I mean, he did the most absolutely stupid thing to allow himself to get roped in to something because of a sickness in him. That he would just go visit, women in hotel rooms and put himself into that position with people who are advertising sexual activity, for God's sakes, on Instagram. You can't be that stupid. Well, Deshaun Watson was, and he paid for it. But Deshaun Watson was a proven commodity. And he came to Cleveland and had the same thing happen to him in Cleveland that every quarterback has. And that has nothing to do with Kevin Stefanski. That has nothing to do the people who make these deals for people. Nothing will change. Nothing will change in Cleveland football unless there is a way of extricating the ignorance of the people who are making all of these bad decisions. And if you were Kevin Stefanski and you had to coach this situation, your scheme isn't going to work because your whole scheme when they brought you in was that we have to have that offensive line because we got to do the zone read running and we got to do that. We got to bulk up the running game and we've got Nick Chubb and we've got Kareem Hunt. And look at this great, God, we've got Batonio and we've got Teller and we've got, you could just go on and name them all. And Jack Conklin, we just got Conklin. Can you believe that? And now it's 6 fucking years later. And these guys are crippled. They can't get to the spot anymore.
You're dead.
It's funny, they were trying to be nice to Joel Batonio, and they should, because Batonio has been a fine player in Cleveland. But they said, Batonio was the only one who had a really good individual block, rate against his opposing guy who was rushing. Yeah, but did you see him try to get to his blocks on the running plays? The guy's got the back of a 75-year-old man. Make it stop. The big dick of truth is simple. You see it with your eyes. You don't read it on a page in social media. You see it with your fucking eyes. He can't do it anymore, and neither can the entire offensive line. And you want to talk about Joe Flacco? The Bengals opened up their running game against a Steelers defense that seemed powerless to stop it. And wasn't that the strength of the Steelers? And I'll sneak this in just for the fun of it. Maybe Mike Tomlin should just shut the fuck up and eat shit. Nobody gives a goddamn what he thinks of what AB did or what Jimmy Haslam did, what the Cleveland Browns did. You see, he focused all that shit there, and it came back and bit him in the ass.
Yeah, they didn't win the game.
They weren't prepared.
They didn't win the game.
And they had every opportunity to win the game.
And they squandered 4 touchdown passes by Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
Can you imagine how many games has Aaron Rodgers thrown 4 touchdown passes and lost? I don't know. Somebody can look that up.
I can tell you something else. When he threw the last one to Freiermuth, the 68-yarder,
yep,
his own man trying to jump on him to celebrate tackled him, and Rodgers got up and took a swing at him.
Yeah, nearly got, yeah.
I mean, there's problems in Pittsburgh, folks. The big dick of truth does not miss this. The Steelers are not that good.
And they've been getting by on fumes for the past 3, 4, 5 years.
And they got a hot-headed quarterback who's an old guy who's just going to do it his way. And we will see now if the worm is turned for the Steelers. Somebody's got to take the bull by the balls. And we thought it was the Steelers, but when you lose to the Bengals, that's not real good. But it almost seemed like all the momentum, every time the Steelers got a little ball of steam rolling, man, the Bengals just rolled over them. It was
it seemed very much like the Steelers were the Browns in that game yesterday.
Found a way to lose.
I saw about maybe bits and pieces of 3 quarters, up, and I did see the end of the game, the beginning of the game. But yeah, I mean, the referees, I think, played a role in that game as well. And there seems to be a lot of controversy about the referees lately.
And here's something that I wanted to share, because I can share a screen here. You want to know what a bootlicker looks like? Somebody who's carrying water for Jimmy Haslam and the boys. Let's see if I can pull this up here. I think that this should be it. Yep. Here we go. Just listen. I don't have to say shit.
I've been very pleased with our young players that we have in the receiver room. They've done such a good job of coming in here and working hard. And I think that we have some good leadership on this team. I really do. And I know that Tommy Reese has done a great job with the young players of really teaching, coaching those guys, and trying to get them to help us win games. And that's certainly the attitude that they've had. They do everything that's to help the team. And I'm really excited to keep seeing these guys play. I really am. They've done everything we've asked from a preparation standpoint, and I think with increased opportunities, they'll have success.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I actually don't know who that is, to be honest with you.
I'm assuming that is the wide receivers coach that we all hate, but I don't know who it is. I don't know who in the fuck this is. And to be very honest with you, he's a fucking liar. He's a bootlicker. And, saying what he just said, and I want to get rid of this, and I want to make sure that I'm not doing this the wrong way. Let's remove this guy from the stage. All right. And all right. I'm figuring this all out very slowly but surely. Yeah. Thank you. You ask a guy a question, right? And this is what he comes up with, because they've been working hard at it. But they have no fucking talent for it, dude.
No.
I mean, that's like me, sitting there taking piano lessons from concert pianists, and I work my balls off, man. But I can't play. I got these little stubby fingers, and I'm not talented.
Well, basically, you can only play one hand. You can't play both hands at the same time because you're not coordinated enough.
Yeah, I mean,
Exactly.
so it's like, well, they've really worked hard, but they shouldn't have been drafted in the first place. David Bell's gone for good now
He's
because
dead. Yeah.
he's done. He's retired.
He's
So,
retired.
and it wouldn't have mattered if that whatever it was that they weren't exposing what happened to him, and what the surgery was for that didn't go well, or what the whole thing
Man.
was
Yeah, I
about.
don't even want to know.
I mean, the fact of the matter is just another horror story because he did it outside of the Browns group. I don't know what the whole situation was, but he was slow and couldn't get open anyway. It doesn't make any goddamn bit of difference. Well, he had good hands, but he couldn't get open. Jerry Jeudy can get open, but he can't catch the ball. I mean, your eyes. This is the big dick of truth. This is me, Mr. Moohead, talking to you. I'm not going to sit here and bullshit you. This guy's just sitting there bullshitting the press. He's thrilled with the way they've worked. He can't wait to see more. Well, that's not true of the fan base. They're vomiting. The fan base is vomiting, puking, because they're sick of seeing it. These guys shouldn't even be in the NFL, except the not for long. God. Here we go again. Gabriel and Sanders aren't good enough, ... So you made a judgment on Gabriel after 2 games, and nobody has looked good, who is quarterback the Kevin Stefanski system. So how many have we gone through? Can you name them all, Bronk?
I don't really want to. It'll hurt my head. I mean, Mayfield struggled with the Kevin Stefanski stuff. I mean,
Once he was...
look, he's a fucking MVP candidate this year. So,
well, I mean, because you got to use people at their strengths. And nobody ever said that Baker Mayfield didn't have an arm and didn't have the ability to make big plays. We knew that he did. Problem is that kind of an excitable boy who made mistakes. And
but he's grown up now too.
Yeah, he's not scrambling so much.
He's not the same guy anymore.
And he's staying healthy. And that has a lot to do with, throwing the ball down the field, not trying to run it yourself.
Having an offensive line, having wide receivers that actually belong in the league. Yeah.
And that's the whole answer to the Joe Flacco thing. I mean, shit. It would be a different world if we had Jamar Chase, we had T. Higgins.
Jamar Chase, he would have thrown every single ball he could have thrown to him when he was with the Browns. I mean, he got like 20 targets last night, if I'm not mistaken. It was some ridiculous amount of targets that must have set a record. 23 targets. I mean, that's. I mean, some quarterbacks don't even throw 23 passes in an entire game. Jamar Chase got 23 targets yesterday.
And now let's see if I can. Wait a minute here. Why is this doing this? Dun, 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 dun. Let me see if I can. I stop that screen. All right, I'm gonna show you something else now, and this will tell you what happens when everything falls apart. All right, and this is what's happening with the Cleveland Browns. This is Grant Delpit. We had a press conference.
I wouldn't have recognized him if the name wasn't up there.
Right. And because he's not been a big talker, he's been a really good player for the Browns. He's really done a nice job for the team. But this is just a snippet. And I just want, because they asked about, what it's like, being playing for a team that's just not winning. All right. This is the guy who had revved himself up and got all excited about things in the last 2 years, and we were heading in the right direction. Now listen to him.
I mean, obviously it's frustrating. You do all you can do to stay together as a team. Try to get that winning feeling back. I don't even, know when it feels like, like I forgot that feeling. It's really just chasing that feeling, man, and trying to do everything you can to get that back and not turning on each other.
Whoa.
Now,
Play that back again. I think that deserves a second playback.
Yeah,
That
if I know
just
where it started,
109, I think you had that.
09.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Try to get that winning feeling back. I don't even.
Oh, let's go before. All right, here we go.
Mindset in the 5 for you guys as a 1-5 team right now?
I mean, obviously it's frustrating. You do all you can do to stay together as a team. Try to get that winning feeling back. I don't even. Know when it feels like, and like I forgot that feeling. It's really just chasing that feeling, man, and trying to do everything you can to get that back and not turn on each other, because that could avalanche the season, So hopefully just stand.
That can happen. That's your man, dude. The dude needs a hug or something, man.
I mean, you're
God,
just
he's so
showing
depressed.
showing your ass to the world that and that's Grant Delpit, our enthusiastic linebacker.
He's depressed now. He needs a bit of I don't know, fluoxetine or Prozac or something. That's not good.
I mean, I'm literally appalled when I,
And they've wheeled him out. And I mean, did they have to wheel out Delpit? Probably not. But they must have chosen him. I mean, the management should have known that he might come out with something like that if he was going to be interviewed.
you would think.
You
And
would have known that if an employee of you was going to be interviewed. You would probably have a
I would
good
never
idea
put
what
somebody
they'd
in
say.
that position.
Exactly. Yeah. That's again. This shit shows how shitty the management of this team is. They don't know their players. They don't know who their best players are, and they don't know their characters. It's just I don't know, man. I've had enough.
Yeah. And then this, you see, now Myles Garrett got his money. They can't break the contract. He's got his money. Here's the headline. A still frustrated Myles Garrett, quote, "I would have liked to see us stick to the run a little bit, but they saw differently."
Well, he's got the money to have the clout to actually be critical of the team. Grant Delpit doesn't have that sort of clout.
Myles Garrett did the same thing Charlie Kirk did. He was funded.
Absolutely.
He was funded to play football like Charlie was funded to do Turning Point.
Yeah.
They gave him a lot of money. Charlie ended up having 4 houses. He was living a good life for a man who did not have a college education and did not have a discernible skill until he found the podcasting realm and a philosophy and something that could energize a percentage of the population.
Yeah, he was born in the 1990s too. He's very young.
Right. So, and that's somebody who could appeal to people who are of his demographic. But the bottom line is he was paid to do a job. And so is Myles Garrett being paid to do a job.
Absolutely. But superstars have a different clout. That's what the world
I mean,
live in.
I want to share one other thing. There was something.
What about TJ Watt last night, man? He got absolutely manhandled. He did nothing in that game.
Well, he wasn't even supposed to be playing, from what I gathered.
He must have been hurt or I don't know what, but he was.
Well, it was said before the game that he wasn't going to play, and I guess he basically said, "Yes, I am." Here's what Garrett said. Additionally, after the game, Garrett vented at the podium that the lack of scoring each week, the Browns haven't scored more than 17 points in 11 straight games, is getting old. Yes, it's frustrating, he said. To lose the same way every time, it's frustrating as hell. He was also asked after the game if the losing it's taking its toll on him the way it did Joe Thomas over the years. It got so bad for Joe Thomas, he sought counseling. Yup, Garrett said.
Wow. Really?
Yeah. I'm not making this shit up.
These guys are PTSD'd, man, by this organization. They are literally having trauma reactions to playing here in Cleveland and shortening their lives by playing for this criminal organization.
Here's why the Browns offense is ... The reason it's not working, it's ill-conceived. It's ill-conceived for the people that we're putting on the field, a quarterback who can't throw long, receivers who can't go long, so we crowd the field into a 10 to 15 yard area.
Block. Yeah.
The little guys who can't get open or catch the ball. I mean, this is an old offensive lineman. Why is the Browns offense? Come on, you don't need to be. This would be like saying, okay, I want you to interpret the meaning of green eggs and ham. Now read with me. I mean, It's fucking Dr. Seuss simple.
Yeah, I mean, myself being 5 years old 60 years ago would figure this out, Yeah, it's not hard.
And in the end, the conclusion. The people who fund it never take the bullet. That's propaganda. Propaganda comes from the highest levels of the government. Propaganda comes from the people who are flooding money into something, from the Elon Musks who could run all of this political shit that he knows goes counter to the way I think all throughout my timeline, and can take Wiley Fox's guy who's been listening to this program for over 20 years, who's a right-leaning guy.
But Wiley Fox, he may be right-wing, but he's a decent guy.
He's a good guy. I've known this guy for 20 years.
I mean, for Wiley.
He looks at his timeline and he's getting all the goddamn left-wing bullshit. It's just designed to stir people up. They never take the goddamn bullet. And who's taking the bullet in this situation? Well, it sure as hell isn't Jimmy Haslam.
No.
Because it never will be. And the fans, as long as you guys keep on getting all stirred up over social media, the stuff you're reading on X, and the desire to attribute this sickness in this organization to that player or this guy or that guy, then you get what you deserve. You're a sheep. You're a bootlicker. You're doing their bidding. That's what they want you to do. Because you know what they say, and it's always been the case. By dividing, you conquer. If you divide the goddamn fan base, they'll never figure out that they have the ultimate strength in just not showing up. Empty fucking stadium. How would goddamn Spiro Ditas, how would he feel with Adam Archuleta doing the goddamn game and the stadium's fucking empty? How would CBS feel about that? You think that the NFL would tolerate Jimmy Haslam if people just, literally crickets in the goddamn stadium? Nobody shows up. You have more power than you think you do.
Absolutely.
But you're too busy being divided by the people who are funding the whole fucking thing. I'm saying this for Charlie Kirk. He can't talk anymore. I can't tell you what Charlie Kirk would have been 10 years from now. Would he see the world differently? We never got to find out.
He'll never have the opportunity.
That's right.
I mean, not to divert this too much, but I'm looking up Haslam Sports Group, right?
Yep.
And they have a pretty slick website. You can look it up yourself. HaslamSports.com. Looking under the leadership tab. The first photo is D and Jimmy Haslam, CEO, Chairman, Managing Partners. The next photo is J.W. Johnson, Managing Partner. Now, if you don't know who J.W. Johnson is, he is Jimmy and Dee's son-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
Married to Managing Partner Whitney Haslam Johnson. So if anything happens to Jimmy or Dee, guess who's running the team? J.W. Johnson and Whitney Haslam Johnson. And then they've got various underlings under them that all look like a very non-diverse group of people, except for maybe perhaps one guy who could go in a number of directions. This is the people that are ruining your lives. And they're never going to leave. And even if the big honcho apparently goes, there's still these people ready to come in underneath, and they're going to be here for forever in Cleveland unless either A, the fans kick them out, or B, the league kicks them out, or a combination of both.
The league is bigger than Jimmy Haslam.
And his family. You
And
are being run by an oligarch. An oligarchic system is what's running the Cleveland Browns.
the only thing the NFL knows is money. All right.
And that press, I don't know if everyone saw the press conference with Mayor Bibb and Jimmy and Dee Haslam, but the Cleveland mayor is almost literally half Jimmy Haslam's age. He looks like a young man standing next to Jimmy, and Jimmy was doing all he could not to like try to look nice when it looked like inside he was seething for having to give up $100 million in installments to the city of Cleveland for the team moving out to a toxic plant that used to have the Ford Motor Company building on it. Now, that money that the city of Cleveland's getting is $100 million. How much is that compared to Deshaun Watson's salary or Myles Garrett's salary? So the city of Cleveland has to make do with less than what individual players on the Browns are getting for them losing their team to Brook Park. And who is going to go to that Brook Park Dome when there's no game on and when there's no Taylor Swift concert on or something? They're trying to make it into like shops and hotels. Who's going to go there? Who goes to shopping malls? No one does. I think this dome is going to be a complete disaster, and it's because Jimmy and his entire family are all involved trying to run it.
Well, here's the honest truth. They think you can't live without football.
It. They absolutely. They think
They're
it's like so much part of our lives.
They're the center of our universe. That's what they believe. Absolutely. And I'll tell you, teams come and teams go. And if fans would wake up and say, we're just not going to the game. We're just not going to go. That's it. It's going to be an empty stadium, nothing but crickets. Yeah, the players are going to know something's going on, but the league is going to say, holy shit. Is this something that they're serious about? And the only way you prove that you're serious about something is following through with it. And you don't even have to miss the game.
Correct.
To do it. Are you that weak? Are we that weak? You can sit and watch the game at home. You don't have to go to the stadium. Just make a statement. Say this isn't good enough. The players will understand.
Hell, they might well join you and go on strike themselves.
But until something is done, no way. And you say, Oliver, that game last night felt slightly fixed. Again, everybody is willing to go on a different conspiracy theory. Yeah. And you know something? Of course the games are fixed. There's big money involved in it. Why do you think all the gambling is involved? Hello? If that's the case, if the games are fixed, why are you supporting it?
Correct.
Why are you paying and going to the stadium? Stop it. Yeah. Don't be a part of this.
Well, to answer his question, Juan Thornhill plays for the Steelers now, so yeah. Anyway, but speaking of gambling, the NFL game, the big bet on one of the bookies yesterday to get you to part with your money on big odds was
Yep.
Flacco and Aaron Rodgers to each throw 3 or more touchdown passes. And I thought, I'm gonna look at that. And it was originally 25-1, they said it was. They bumped it up to 50-1. And I thought, oh fuck it. Why not? I'm gonna put 6 pence on it, which is probably the equivalent of 8 pence or 9 cents in America on that. And sure enough, it happened. And there were 7 TD passes thrown in the game. And I won a grand total of £3 and 8 pence as a result. But
Through booty, my friend.
you got to
Ooh.
think that even somebody putting on like $10, somebody putting on $10 would have gotten $500 back on that. It's just.
Yeah.
But that was their headline bet. So whoever did this at this booking company in England probably is without a job now, because I imagine they lost their shirt on it.
Now, Alistair, drafting 2 quarterbacks, handpicked by this fucking coach. The fucking coach is a bootlicker. He's just trying to keep his job so he can get ready for the next go round with the next team. It's the lowest I felt as a Cleveland fan since the Pittsburgh playoff comeback win. Now, again, don't go to the game. If you know anybody who's going to get, tell them just not to go. And it's going to be lousy weather anyway.
Oh God, yes. I was going to send you the weather report. It's going to be rain throughout the whole thing, and it's going to be like 20-mile-an-hour winds. So
yeah, and they're saying it could, with lake effect, go up to as much as 50 miles an hour, but they're not sure about that. They said 20 to 30, steady wind and rain.
Oh, we're fucked. We are absolutely Dylan Gabriel. Hello, Dylan. He's going to get blown around like a piñata or a trampoline.
I mean, honestly, folks, can you really get excited about going to a game in those weather conditions?
You're going to get soaked watching.
And that Tua, who's a throwing quarterback, they're not a running football team. They throw the football. They score. They've been scoring points a lot more than the Browns have. All right. Do you really think that it's going to be a whole lot of fun watching 2 left-handed midgets go out on the field in a 30-mile-an-hour wind with it raining? That's going to be any. I mean, the ball's going to be soaking wet. There are going to be fumbles and interceptions and strip sacks and all kinds of things going on out there. Is that what you pay your money to see?
I mean, you're going to watch Andre Schmidt saying, "No, thank you. I don't. You go for it on 4th and 8. I don't want to kick."
Well, there's likelihood that neither team will want to kick in that. Because you don't even know which way the wind's blowing in that stadium.
The ball could end up blowing back on you.
Yeah. I just, if you're going to miss a game, miss this one. It's 2 teams who are going nowhere. One team is going to be 2-5. The other one's going to be 1-6. What's it matter?
Well,
make them pay.
Make them pay. Misney. Mike Misney or Tom Misney, whatever his name is.
And there's my buddy Wiley Fox. They've thrown in the towel. Absolutely. You can tell by the quotes that I'm reading from the players. They're done.
Delpit has PTSD, man. He needs help.
Yeah. I mean, people are depressed.
You can't win when you're depressed. You can't. You're in a hole. You can't crawl your way out of it.
And Cedric Tillman is now gone on the injured reserve.
Never to be seen again.
Yeah. I mean, they don't want to play.
Yeah.
These people don't want to play. It's a hamstring now. Right? And here's Rudy G. Funk. Hey, Rudy. Flacco should never have been pulled. He still would have lost to the Steelers. The rookie quarterback should have never seen the field. Well, I mean,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, man.
It's a talking point that you can agree or disagree with, but it separates fans. The fans want good football. The way to get good football is not to pay for the product. The way is let him build that goddamn dome, and then when the fans don't show up to this stadium, and a message will be sent, but not to Jimmy. Jimmy's dense. He's a dummy. It's the league. Hello, Mr. Be Safe. How are you? I'm catching up with comments.
Yeah, my comment that I put with the link to Haslam Sports didn't pop up on the other bit, but just go on the Haslam Sport website, people, and have a look at the people ruining your Sundays.
Yeah. Well, and you look at this and you say, hey, thanks for Flacco. Well, wait till you see him next week.
Yeah, and we were going to use him anyway. So
I mean,
it was like giving away socks for Christmas. Like you got some crappy socks for your birthday, and you gave them to somebody else for Christmas. That's what pretty much Joe Flacco was.
Yeah, the last first-round offensive player drafted who's still active dates back to 2017. Isn't that great? 8 years. It's just unbelievable. Oh, and I knew this would come up. You have to listen to the whole show. You can't come in 50 minutes after it begins and understand what the correlation is.
Yeah,
you'll understand it when it's put into context. Go back to the beginning of the show and listen.
There's billionaires and what billionaires pay other people to do on their behalf.
Hello, Big Lurker UK. Oh, look at him. He's got that smile on his face. His footy team won. Oh, he's a happy camper. Stop buying the merchandise. Absolutely. You got, if you went into a restaurant and they food poisoned you, you wouldn't go back.
You would not go back. In fact, you would probably go to your local health department and say, holy fuckers, sort these people out because they're killing people,
Oh, man.
But this is the last Sunday before the Cavaliers season starts.
Yeah, and I do want to say something before I get out of here about that. Don't expect miracles from the Cleveland Cavaliers, folks. I mean, and I don't want to hear people whining about it because, again, while the big dick of truth is out and hanging there, you don't have Max Strus, you don't have Darius Garland, and you're trying to get Lonzo Ball integrated with the second string. You don't have Ty Jerome anymore, and you're trying to figure out how DeAndre Hunter is going to go with the starters. And he's great, but you're going to have a great starting five, but the bench is scoring deficient. And if you really think that having Lonzo Ball and Jalen Tyson and those guys on the floor, that's not so good. So the idea, not that you're going to listen to me, the idea is this ain't 64 win territory. This is going to be a 52-win season between 48 and 50 wins. That's what it's going to be. And it might even be as bad as 45, depending on how long it takes for these players to get healthy. But we've already seen it. Look at the Pacers. It isn't how you start out. It's how you finish.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
So better that we get stronger as the season progresses instead of weaker, which is what happens to us and the Knicks every year.
In a way, Strus and Garland, they can come back when it's November, December, January, and then they wouldn't have a whole half a season wear and tear on them, and we might be a decent team by the time. Yeah, if we get the third seed or the fourth seed, I mean, Indianapolis was the fourth seed and went to the finals. I mean, the playoffs are such a lottery anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter,
And I wanted to put something up on the screen before I get out of here. And let's see if we can do this. It's share screen time. All right, here we go. And share. All right. Look.
There it is.
You want to take a look.
The orange bit the Browns
See this little area here and this
little
little area here. Look, if you're going to watch the
Ohio
goddamn
and
football
Miami.
game, if you're
They're
going
not
to,
even showing it in Tampa, are they?
no, not in Tampa Bay. No. If you want to watch the game, you got to watch it out of an Orlando CBS affiliate, a West Palm Beach CBS affiliate, or a Miami
Wow.
CBS affiliate, or of course, Cleveland, Toledo, Dayton, Columbus, not Cincinnati,
Yeah.
maybe Youngstown. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's or Erie. I don't know. Is that Erie, Pennsylvania up there? I don't know.
No, I mean, it's basically just Ohio, but not Cincinnati. No. So, if you want to, if you got your Sunday ticket, not a problem. But if you're streaming and you're looking, not very much of the country is going to be seeing a lousy football game like the Browns and the Dolphins and a goddamn tsunamis.
It's going to
Not
look like the
gonna
Benny
happen.
Hill program. It'll be another episode. Leonard Pint Garnell, bad football. Remember him? Another episode.
Leonard Pint Garnell. Truly bad.
Awful. Hideous. Heinous.
Oh, God. So there you have it. You know everything that I know at this point.
Who's dead and who isn't for this game? Who's all hurt?
Oh, the injuries. I did actually have that. Let me.
I thought you said you did. I couldn't remember.
Oh, God. Did I get rid of it? Injury status. Rid of this. Gage Larvadan. He is a concussion limited participant. Jerry Jeudy questionable. His knee remained limited in practice. David Njoku is out for the game. Deshaun Watson is out. Mike Hall Jr. questionable, but he's not going to play. Cam Robinson suffered a knee injury, and he's questionable. Jack Conklin, because of the concussion protocol, he is questionable. And Joe Tryon Shoyinka, questionable.
Great name.
And if you don't believe me that the injuries are a problem for the Browns, look at their injured reserve from this year. Cedric Tillman, who was just added today, DeAndre Carter, DeJuan Jones, Winston Reed, Cade McDonald, Nathaniel Watson, Anthony Kendall, Martin Emerson, and of course JOK. So, yep, great, ain't it? And you're telling me there isn't a problem with the physical conditioning of these players?
Oh yeah. Let's all go to the Cleveland Clinic. Yep.
It's just pathetic. All right, everybody, I got to get out of here.
I'm gonna make my prediction because.
Oh, I don't care. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna make one of Bronxstradamus's bold predictions. I'm feeling that confident that this may be Kevin Stefanski's final game. I'm going to say Miami 19, Cleveland 3. This is going to be one of the worst games you're ever going to see in your life.
The kick in the balls game.
The kick in the 19, because Miami still wants to win.
Yep. And there's a lot of systemic problems, and Mike McDaniel's not helping himself.
They still have a team, and they still want to win. I'm going to say 19-3. And this, I believe, the Browns are actually favored here.
No, 51%. 51.3 leaning toward the Dolphins.
Oh, right. Well, I don't know whether it's much different odds here, but
it's
very tight.
The Dolphins will win because the Browns are not in a mental state. Their best players are not in a mental state, and they're defeated, and it's busted up, and it's irrevocably broken, and Stefanski won't be there at the end of the year, so he's lame ducking his way through the season. The players know it, and they're half-assing on the field. What do you want me to tell you? That's the facts. They're not going to win, and I don't think they're going to win for the rest of the year. They lose this game in a tsunami in their home stadium to a team like the Dolphins that is in virtual disarray, then it's done. I don't think they're going to win another game. I really
think
don't.
somebody should go on StubHub and see what the price of tickets are going to be Sunday morning. You probably might be able to pick up a pair for $5 or something.
Bring
Sit in
Mary
the rain.
Poppins umbrella.
Yeah, sit in the rain for 3 hours and watch a terrible game and watch the
God.
Blues.
Well, it's going to be hard enough watching it on television, but I will be there to hold your hooves at halftime and at postgame, so that I don't run from my responsibilities. And the reason I do this for free is because I feel for people, but at the same time, it's like you do have some power in this.
Oh,
You
yeah,
do have
people-
something that you can bring to the table. Do it.
We're all humans. We all can affect things, regardless of how much our power is or not is. Billionaires can't run everything.
Yep. And I'll finish up with this. The person said, what's Charlie Kirk got to do with this? They found a good mouthpiece, and Charlie Kirk stirred up the base, which in politics is a big, important thing. And he was a valuable asset, and they wasted him. They put him in a lesser security position than he should have been in, and he should never have been shot like that. Should never have happened.
Yeah, they could have had a lot secure perimeter around him, and
Yep.
they really wanted to.
But you see, they wanted to do the little tour on the cheap. And, we're going to bring them out into Utah. We're going to bring them out, to the hinterlands. And it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. They had the right voice, and they wasted him. And it's no different than fucking Jimmy Haslam. He's wasting Myles Garrett and wasting, he wasted Nick Chubb.
Wasted all of our times.
Yeah. I mean, and they were talented players who gave their all.
Yeah.
And they're the ones who took the bullet, not Jimmy.
Yeah.
Do something about it, folks. Think about it. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you again Sunday at the half. Until then, hasta la vista, Pastor Heads. Good night.